G'day and welcome back to another week of the H1 Shootout. My name's Simon Orchard. As always, I'm joined by Kate Allman and Adam Clifford to shoot the breeze about the Sultana Brand H1 League. Guys, well done on making it back to a second week. Not cancelled yet, and we're going to dive straight into it with a segment called What Caught Your Eye? Now, Kate, you're in commentary for the first two match days over the weekend. What caught your eye, mate?
Orch, I have to say the what caught my eye was the posts. In the first game, New South Wales Pride versus Hockey Club Melbourne, I was looking for goals. I was hoping for a big score blowout, but the New South Wales Pride just simply could not get on the board because of the posts. I had to check if there was a magnet in there or something, or they kept hitting the posts. I think the guys hit the post like 5 or 6 times, honestly. We sent a match side reporter down. He said there's nothing going on. He reckons there's no magnetism or anything. But then again, he was local to Melbourne, so I can't be too sure. That caught my eye, but my favourite part of the day was when New South Wales Pride finally got on the scoreboard and Kai Willett, he scored 2 goals and had an amazing game. He's celebrating a match goal with the team and they're all going around, as you can see in this vision here. Everyone's celebrating, but can anyone give Kai Willett a high five? Someone give him some love. Someone show him some love, please. So anyway, I felt sorry for Kai. He caught my eye, and next time I see you, Kai, I'll give you that high five you're looking for. So sorry about that.
Oh, poor little fella. Left out on a limb there. Tell you what, watching the first half of that New South Wales Pride Hockey Club Melbourne game, I felt like I was watching the Mighty Ducks when Coach Bombay kept firing the puck into the post, half an inch the other way.
More post and you go home crying.
Like, it was literally a centimetre of woodwork that stopped them every time. It was crazy.
Yeah, certainly. Well, they ended up making up for it, didn't they? They put plenty of goals on the board. Poor old Johan Durst in the net there for Hockey Club Melbourne was under siege. Cliffo, what about you, mate? We know you were pitch side in Tassie, a wonderful night down there. The temps got as low as 3 degrees, so your short sleeve polo certainly caught my eye. But what about you, mate? What stood out for you over the weekend?
Well, I'm honing in on the groundsman at the Perth Hockey Stadium, Orch, and I see you. So let's play it back. Perth Thundersticks, Lene Milan's just scored a goal of the season contender. She's being interviewed by Aussie hockey legend Grant Schubert, as you can see here, an absolute icon of Australian hockey. He should have had a statue built outside the Adelaide Hockey Stadium. And poor old Grant is giving his post-match interview, and you take the moment, groundsman, to water the grounds. Like, come on, spare me. Actually, the watering of the grounds, Orch, actually was pretty ordinary right across the competition. In Tassie, it looked like there'd been a downpour. So I have this message, Orch. Groundskeepers beware. I'm watching you. Lift your game.
There you go. Cliffo's clanger, maybe. Maybe that's a new segment for next week. Groundsman, pick up your act. We don't want our stars getting wet, especially Grant Schubert. I saw that he was looking very schmick in his nice Hockey One polo and hat down there, so we don't want people like that getting wet. Good one from you, mate. Look, what caught my eye, I'll finish it off this week. Take a look at this. This was the Perth Thundersticks men against the Adelaide Fire men, and a really bizarre penalty corner setup. So you can see the 2 corner batteries at the top of the circle. Then we've got another corner battery just outside the dotted 5. Now, when we spoke last week, guys, we thought the conversion rule around field goals might change the mindset of teams on penalty corners during the league. We know that if you turn a penalty corner into a field goal opportunity, you obviously get the conversion attempt and can score 2 goals instead of just the 1 for your penalty corner. So this was a little bit funky. I'm not sure what David Guest and the team were trying to concoct here. I know they were struggling to score penalty corners earlier in the game, so maybe just a different look. They ended up taking a regulation flip. But I'm intrigued. Over the next coming weeks, let's see how many other teams try and change up this penalty corner system and maybe create some more field goal opportunities to enable them to get that conversion attempt. So that stood out for me. The other thing that caught my eye, this is a feel-good clip. Look at these kids having the time of their life. They're the hook into hockey youngsters in Perth, dancing up a storm. It looks like they're having the best night of their lives, and I just thought this was phenomenal. It was sent in by someone who was watching the game, and they just thought this is what hockey's all about, and this is a big part of the reason the Sultana Brand Hockey One Leg is going to captivate audiences all around the country. So that's what caught our eye in round 1 of the Sultana Brand Hockey One League. Please, if you see something interesting, unusual, phenomenal, send it to us on the Hockey One League socials or even personally, and we'll try and get it up next week. Well, week one of the Sultana Brand Hockey One League is in the books, and it's our turn to take some hot takes or overreactions after the first week. Look, we've got one game of data, so really, we shouldn't be making some of these calls, but it's our job. We want to try and get some discussion going around Australia, around this Hockey One League that's going on at the moment. Cliffo, the Tassie Tigers, arguably the greatest upset in Sultana Brand Hockey One League history. They knocked over the Brisbane Blaze in a shootout. Can they win it all? This is your hot take for week one.
Yeah, look, thanks, Orch. And look, we're just taking it one game at a time down here in Tasmania, not getting too excited, just keeping a lid on it. But seriously, the Tassie Tigers can win the Hockey One League this year. I thought their transition play was incredible, particularly in the first half. Their defence looked really solid, and clearly Evie Dalton is a goalkeeper set up for the Hockey One League, saving 5 out of 6 shootouts, and that's going to be a huge asset for them this year. So do I think they can win it? Absolutely. They can be the fairy tale rags to riches story of this Hockey One League. And this could also be a watershed moment for women's hockey in Tasmania. It's been 20 years since they had multiple athletes in the Hockey Roos set up, and you've got to go almost a century back to when they had 4 in the national side. And this could be the start of something really, really special down here in the Apple Isle.
Oh, Cliffo, love it, mate. Love the paraphernalia as well. Something interesting about Tassie, they always seem to be a lot of people's second team. There's something about you guys down there that we just love. We've obviously seen in a bunch of other sports that Tassie's been doing a world of good. The NBL, they've got their team down there, which is being supported in the droves. They made the final of that competition last year. There's talk of an AFL team coming down to the Apple Isle, as you mentioned. And if the Tassie Tigers women can go all the way in the Sultana Brand Hockey One League, holy hell, Tassie sport will just go through the roof. Love it, mate. Great take. Kate, what about you? We've seen a bunch of international stars make their mark in the first week of the Sultana Brand Hockey One League. Do you think there's something special about these stars coming and playing in our number one league?
Yeah, I do, Orch, I do. So my hot take of the week is the international spice, the international flavour spicing up this league. Of course, we're seeing the best of the best Australian hockey talent, but this is a league that showcases talent from all over the world. We saw in the Tasmanian game that Cliffo has pointed out so, in such an unbiased way. Cliffo, well done. The captain, Maddie Murphy, she's just returned from playing in the US in the Big Ten college conference system, and she's brought home 3 American imports with her that were huge on that game. De Burdine, Sunfest, Walgamuth. I thought Sunfest particularly was a really dominant physical presence in the midfield. She set up a lot of attacking plays, and then she put away her shootout with a reverse stick shot that was so clean, so easy for her, it looked. On Saturday, we had South African Lene Milan scoring another amazing tomahawk from the top of the D. She grew up in Cape Town and she moved to Perth about 6 years ago, so she's kind of more Australianised than most, but she does play for the South African national team. And this weekend, we get our first look at the season 1 MVP in the Canberra Chill side. It's Japanese Shihori Oikawa. Okay, she is a national player for Japan. She's played in international stages, World Cups, Olympic Games, and there's also 2 national players from the New Zealand Black Sticks in the Canberra Chill. So we certainly have a lot of talent here in Australia, but I think teams that are handpicking the best from around the world may be able to add that depth of experience in that higher level tournament play, which are always going to be faster and more physical, that might give them an edge over younger players that are in some of the Australian development camps. So yeah, international flavour, I think that might be a secret ingredient to winning this league.
Like it a lot. And it's not something overly new, I guess, either, Kate. There's been stories of players coming over and playing in our national competition for many years. Taka Takama played for New South Wales, winning a title 15 years ago. I know Phil Burrows and Hayden Shaw have played for Tassie. We saw Gemma McCaw play for Adelaide in the inaugural season of Sultana Brand Hockey One League. So the more international players, the better. And I think that's what we want. We want the best talent from around the world coming to Australia and taking part in this wonderful league. So good on you, internationals. Keep bringing your mates with you. Bring as many as you can, and they can fit into our team for sure. Now, look, I'm going to finish this off with our week 1 hot takes or overreactions. I threw this up on social media and it got a bit of a response. New South Wales Pride men will not lose a game. They will go through this tournament undefeated. Honestly, I'm a New South Wales guy, but I don't think I have the bias that some people will accuse me of. That was their B side, and no disrespect to the guys playing, but they were missing Blake Govers, Tom Craig, Lockie Sharp, Matt Dawson, Flynn Ogilvie, Tim Brand wasn't involved either. The list goes on and on. There's 6 or 7 of Australia's premier players, and they still wipe the floor with Hockey Club Melbourne. Yes, it didn't go their way in the first half, but I think they stamped their authority big time in the second stanza, and it was an immense performance from a bunch of young guys who are just stacked full of talent. We've seen the rise of Dylan Martin, who won Player of the Match. You mentioned Kai Willard earlier, who's a young talent in the national squad already, and there's a plethora of other young guys coming through in this New South Wales system that makes the other states, I reckon, look around and think, Christ, what are we doing with our junior development? Why can't we get the talent of this club at the moment? So for me, New South Wales Pride men, they're going all the way. They won the first season of the Sultana Brand 1 Hockey League, Sultana Brand Hockey 1 League 8-3 in the final over the Brisbane Blaze. I think they're going to repeat the dose this season. And my last one, just a quick one, and I don't think this is an overreaction. I think this is spot on the money. Gabby Nance played for the Adelaide Fire on Saturday against Perth. I thought she was superb. I think she's one of Australia's premier players still, despite being out of the national setup for some time. And it'd be great if she chooses to put her hand up for selection, and hopefully Trini Powell's having a good close look at her, because she's a star and she's still young enough to have a big impact in the next couple of years heading towards the Paris Olympics. So Gabby Nance, great job to you. Well done. They're our week 1 hot takes. Have your say. Head over to the Sultana Brand Hockey 1 League social pages or jump in our DMs and see what you think. You're watching the Hockey One Shootout with Kate, Cliffo and Orch. The stock market game is back. It's pretty simple. Buy stock in players or teams early before their value skyrockets. Or if you spot some trouble ahead, sell your shares, lickety-split, I should say. Ads, you like a couple of youngsters. Why don't you kick us off this week?
Yeah, I probably should be on a beach or a yacht somewhere after my tips last week, Orch, but I've got a few more tips this week. I've gone speculative. I think Josh Brooks for the Tassie Tigers. Everyone loves a redhead. And I don't think they're going to score too many PCs, so they're going to need him to absolutely fire against the fire, pardon the pun, this weekend. And I think he'll be an absolute nightmare for them. I'm also going to go with an Adelaide player, Carly Hoofman. She's a really strong carrier of the ball. She has a good eye for goal. And alongside Gabby Nance and Jane Claxton, I think it's going to be a fantastic midfield battle against the Tigers on Saturday night. I am going to sell a little bit of stock, though. I'm going to get rid of Joel Rentala. He scored 2 goals, should have had a third, but he got greedy looking for the top bins. He comes up against Andrew Charter, the Kookaburra's keeper for the Chill at home. So I'm going to sell him and buy Jake Wetton because I understand he'll be back for the Blaze.
Playing the matchups. Love that. Good stuff, Cliffo. Kate, what about you? I mentioned Amy Lawton last week, and I think we all saw just how good she is on the weekend. But you're looking elsewhere in the family to kick off your investments this week.
Yeah, Amy Lawton, she was player of the match. Obviously, she lived up to expectations for Hockey Club Melbourne. I think her stocks are too expensive for me right now. I've got to dish out my money carefully. So I've actually looked next to her, behind her on the field, Josie Lawton, her little sister, 17 years old. She was so impressive back down there in defence for Hockey Club Melbourne. She's the youngest on the team, but she played with the confidence of someone who is much older. She's clearly learned a thing or two from her sister. She was strong on the ball and she made life really difficult for New South Wales Pride strikers. She was shutting them down at every opportunity, kept the score to 5-3, had a huge impact in the game, and just plays her role. Just one of those players who does what she needs to do, doesn't hold on to the ball too long. I really liked her. I'm also buying the youngster goalkeeper, Evie Dalton, who shut down Brisbane Blaze for the Tassie Tigers. She kept people like Savannah Fitzpatrick and Rosie Malone out on those one-on-one shootouts. They are some of the top shootout scorers in the world, and they couldn't score against Evie Dalton. She also beat the team in the shootout, so she was huge in the Tassie Tigers' first win against the defending champions. Finally, on the men's side for Tassie, Hayden Belts, brother of Josh Belts. He's a big boy with plenty of power behind him. I think he's going to be a weapon striker. He's been named in the national development squad already. I think he's going places, so I'll be buying him.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Like all of those tips from both of you. Now, look, I'm going to finish this off. I'm buying a pair of Adelaide Fire players. Christian Starkey, firstly, the goalkeeper for Adelaide. We know his roots lie in WA, but of course, Ben Rennie and Tyler Lovell taking up the spots between the sticks for the Perth Thundersticks. So Christian has been forced to play for Adelaide. He was immense on Saturday night. Now, look, I think the Perth Thundersticks were deserved winners, and I think in the end, the result maybe flattered Adelaide a little bit, but Christian Starkey was the great wall of Starkey. He was fantastic. I threw it out. Is he the best goalkeeper in WA? A little bit tongue-in-cheek because we know Ben Rennie obviously is part of the Kookaburra side. Tyler Lover, we know what he's done for the Australian team in previous years as well. But Christian Starkey, I'm buying stock in him. I reckon he's going to be busy, but I reckon he showed on the weekend that he's capable of putting in some superb performances. And the guy that stood alongside him in the net, Glenn Tamlin, I reckon he saved 2 or 3 penalty corners off his hip. It was like watching a cricketer out in the middle of the crease, just bumping them away down through square leg. I thought he was fantastic, and I think I'm going to buy some stocks in Glenn Tamlin as well. As for the sells, I sold Perth Thundersticks men last week. I'm running out of teams here because Hockey Club Melbourne men, down the toilet. Every share or stock I have, like I said at the top, the Pride were without so many good players. Hockey Club Melbourne were basically full strength. I know it's just one game, but they look like a team that's definitely building for the future. I'm not sure if this year's their year, and I'm picking them to miss the finals. That's how bad I reckon Hockey Club Melbourne were. So that's our say for the stock market this week. Tell us who you're buying, who you're holding, or maybe who you're selling on the socials, and we look forward to touching base again next week. That's just about it for the Hockey One Shootout this week. Round 2 of the Sultana Brand Hockey One League kicks off on Thursday night with the Canberra Chill making their Season 2 debut up in Brizzy when they take on the Blaze. That game will be live on Fox Sports and KO. Kate, what are you looking forward to most about those clashes?
Yeah, I mentioned it before, or getting a first look at that Canberra Chill team. I can't wait, especially on the women's side. They have the Season 1 MVP, Japanese Shiori Oikawa, but they also have former Hockeyroos, Naomi Evans and Kalindi Comerford. Comerford is friends with the Brisbane Blaze player, Savannah Fitzpatrick. Both have played for Australia together, but I also know they're good friends and great rivals. Even better when they're playing against each other. It'll be a fiery matchup. I can't wait to see it.
No real surprises with our tips there as well. On Friday night, Hockey Club Melbourne will welcome the Perth Thundersticks to the nation's sporting capital. Cliffo, what caught your eye on that matchup?
Yeah, 2 great fixtures. Orch, I'm really looking forward to seeing Carly James. Was really impressed with her aerial passing ability last week. And I think the men's game will be really telling on either side's finals chances.
And we're split, of course, on Saturday night with our tips. The Adelaide Fire open their home account against the Tassie Tigers from 7:30 p.m. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Tassie back up that big win last week over the Brisbane Blaze in the women. Also, how the Tassie men bounce back from their disappointing first-up loss to Brisbane as well. I actually thought the Adelaide Fire were the better team for big patches against the Perth Thundersticks women last week. So I'm excited to see Jane Claxton, Gabby Nance, who I've already mentioned, and Hattie Shan run around for them, of course, coached by Jason Butcher as well. So a big weekend of fixtures, round 2 of the Sultana Brand Hockey One League. One last thing before we go, the Shootout Team of the Week and Goal of the Week will be out on socials later this week. Please send your feedback. Let us know if we've got it right or wrong. That's all from us this week on the Hockey One Shootout. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Cliffo. Thanks to everyone watching at home. Till next time, hooroo.